Is it on? It's rolling! Hello, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who do not know me, hi, my name is Aaron. I am Prism's current historian. In honor of Black History Month, I am here to teach you the 5 elements of Vogue. Okay, so I am aware that some of you may not know what Vogue is or where it comes from, and trust me, that's okay. Voguing is essentially a product of ballroom culture, which grew in prominence throughout the latest 20th century in the upper East Coast region of the United States, so think like New York. In this, predominantly Black and Latino LGBTQ+ individuals came together to form what is known as this style of expression. But enough of the history, we're here to Vogue, so let's get right into it. Okay, and bear with me with the lighting, y'all. So with voguing, we have 5 main elements. We have the catwalk, the duckwalk, hand performance, floor performance, and spins and dips. So starting with the catwalk, we're gonna break this down by lower half and upper half. So starting with the lower half, the first thing you wanna do is make sure that you are accentuating your hips. So like get used to like poking out your hips a little bit more than usual. Voguing is all about, you know, accentuatedness. It's very flamboyant, expressive, bold, passionate. So you really want to make sure you're popping your hips, okay? So once you get that motion going, you then want to start to step out with the hip motion. So once you get that groove going as well, you can start moving forward with it, okay? So it should look something like, okay, I know it looks weird right now, but it's because we don't have all the pieces of the puzzle yet. So we just want to get this first, okay? And then you want to add the upper half. And so essentially to break this down, when you vogue, it's kind of essential to have weak, or not weak, but like loose wrists to give it that like soft effect. You also want to follow the rule of opposition, meaning that whatever's happening to one side, you want to make sure that you're doing the opposite to the other. With arms, the motion is you go out, in, in. But the tricky part is not at the same time. So when one arm comes out, your other arm is coming back and it's kind of tapping your shoulder, and then you want to switch it, vice versa. So doing this, and to coordinate with the legs, whatever leg steps out, the opposite arm has to come out. So, like that. You tap out, you tap in. The arm that's next to that, you know, adjacent with the leg, you want to tap your shoulder when it comes out. Tap. So all together, it should look like this, 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 this. Okay? Just a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? It's a little janky right now, but once you get the motion, you can start to add a little oomph to it, you know? So, 5. And most counts in Vogue is a count of 4. So you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like any sort of variation of 4, you want to keep that in mind when you're doing certain moves and you want to transition. It's usually on the 4. Or like the high point, the peaks, is on the 4. Now, the duck walk is, out of the 5 elements, I feel like one of the most challenging, simply because it does take a lot on your knees. If you don't have mega knees, I mean, we're gonna take it one step at a time, okay? It takes a lot to get used to. Essentially, you're doing the same thing that you're doing with the catwalk, but now you're doing it basically like squatted down. So to turn to the side, you should essentially look like this when you're duck walking. This is the standard position for a duck walk. And so the motion goes, you want to kick your feet out like ever so slightly. You want to do like a little flutter kick and then bring it back in. So you kick out like super small like that. I mean, you can do a little bit more of a like a, but you don't need to, but it'll, depending on the type of energy that you bring to the duck walk, it'll emulate through that. Yeah, so the full motion, it should alternate. So, okay, And feel free to keep your hands on your knees if you're not ready for the hands. The hands should do opposition as well. All together should look like, and then that's the duck walk. So hand performance has 5 elements in and of itself. So bear with me, y'all, but we're gonna try to run through these really fast. So the first element within hand performance is lines. So any sort of like straight edge, anything that resembles a line, sort of like, it's the more rigid part of hand performance. It's a good transitioner. The second element is circles. So again, with the loose wrists, you can do circles with your wrists. You can come out and you can do circles with your elbows. You can do alternating directions. You can do the same direction. You can do circles with your arms, kind of like windmills or whatever. And yeah, the third element is waves. So with waves, it's more fluid. So you want to kind of like resemble a sort of wave wherever you can. It's also a transitional sort of like element within hand performance to get you to other elements within hand performance. But yeah, you can wave with your body, you can do anything. Then the fourth element in hand performance is, gosh, I'm spacing. The fourth element is taps. So with taps, it's pretty simple. You can tap on your body, tap anywhere. You can tap outside your body. And yeah, and so the fifth and last element within hand performance we have is figure 8. Hands down, figure 8 is the hardest element within hand performance because there's so many moving parts. So essentially, this is the movement. Okay, so it's easier than it looks, but we just have to break it down into like little sections. So the first part of the figure 8 is the actual movement itself, which is drawing an 8, okay? Which is why it's called figure 8. And then how I like to think of it is when one hand is drawing the upper part of the 8, the other hand is coming down and drawing the lower part of the 8. So kind of like this motion, when you're doing this, your other hand should be doing this to make the 8 with it. And it kind of follows that pattern. So draw the 8, other hand comes down, and it's drawing the 8, drawing the 8, drawing the 8, drawing the 8, drawing the 8. Y'all see it?
What?
It's drawing the lower half and the other one, not at the same time, kind of, but I'm confusing y'all. Oh my gosh. It's easier the faster you go. Draw the 8, 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 draw the 8. Okay, do y'all see the 8? And so you can do this with your wrist, you can do this with your elbows. You can come down like that. You can do it with straight arms. Or you can do this figure 8 with your hands. A lot of people call this the helicopter because helicopter. It kind of looks like that. Next is floor performance. So again, the world's your oyster with this because pretty much anything that you do on the floor is considered floor performance. Some like sort of idioms that we kind of see a lot is the sort of like the wave, or like some sort of like beat, or what else? Oh, you can kind of like swivel, or just like any sort of like, any movement you do on the floor. It's a really good transition element to get you from on the floor back up. And yeah, you can do pretty much anything. It's just whatever's on the floor. So last but not least, we have spins and dips. This is also one of the more challenging ones next to duck walking, just because it does take a lot of practice to get to the more extreme levels of dips, like the ones where you're like falling from this level. But for now, we're just gonna do it the safe way, okay? Don't try this at home. Unless you're doing it the safe way, okay? So with your dips, there's like a 4-step motion. You prep, turn, step down, turn again, in that. Okay? So with spins is also kind of free. Like, you can do whatever. You can spin, you know, just like a regular, like any sort of turn you can do. You can spin with your head. And so like a spin going into a dip is really common. That's why they have spins and dips together. You can do like a ba, ba, then press, go down into a dip. Okay? Okay. Congratulations, because you are now officially a Voguer! Yes! Give it up, give it up! Feel free to tell your friends, your grandparents, your parole officer, anybody. If you enjoyed this video, I enjoyed making it, please give it a thumbs up, comment, share, most importantly, subscribe, click the bell, all that. If you want to stay informed for what we have in store, feel free to follow us on Instagram at PrismNDIrish. And yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you soon. Bye. Miss Eric took you to Puerto Rico so you can get some fame. Now I'm gonna go across the board and so I can do the same.